Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all having a good day. This video is going to be kind of controversial, but I'm not one to stay away from a subject matter that might be sensitive to some people or others. The truth is always the truth. It doesn't matter where it points or anything else. So today I'm going to be talking about something that might be considered kind of racist. It is in a way, but it points to the truth. And sometimes the truth is the truth, and and I'm not intending this to be racial or any sort of thing. But throughout history, guys, we've had a number of resets from one generation, or not generation, but era to another. The recent one we had was back the late 1800s or 1800s into the early 1900s. We talked about this as the Tartarian age. Before that, before that was the Tartarian age. But it's become evident that there have been a number of resets, each one lasting approximately around 2,000 years. Even the economic system is only designed to last a little more than 100 years, their current economic system. So we've had a number of resets, not only in our time, but also throughout history. One of the main things here is, people talk about the lost technology and the Tartarian age and the technology that the Tartans had and all these great buildings and all this information that's been hidden from us. But today's subject is more pointed towards a racial thing in a sense. I've long had the thought that, again, I'm sorry for the way this sounds, but this is the way it is. The Caucasian people were created separately from several other type of people. Mutations and everything does not account for the skin pigmentation and the aberrations of the pigments in our skin from the melatonin content and on. Also, there's several other things that stands out, even in the genetics. So in my idea, yes, there was a different species. In fact, even historically, we find out that there were 7 different species of humanoids living amongst each other around the same time. So this kind of points to, yes, there was separate species or races created around the same time or living around amongst each other. So historically, it points to that Caucasian people were named after the Caucasus Mountains, etc., etc. All that's kind of whatever. But it does point out again that white people are kind of different than a lot of other people. The general population of the world is more of a brown color or variations of brown, and white people are aberration from that norm across the globe, and no counting of mutations over the years, even how long it might have been, would account for this kind of mutation. So again, it points to different species created around the same time or living next to other. So anyway, this goes again back to what was going on Tartaria, and before that there was different ages of history where there was a reset, not only through technology, religion, monetary, social systems, but also population, different species, in fact, or different races, if you will. Our most recent one we've heard about, y'all have heard about the orphan trains, right? And during the early 1900s, late 1800s, 1900s, they was putting all these kids on trains and sending them out all over the place in the United States and Europe also. Whether y'all knew this or not, it's a kind of thing that happened around the same time. There was a shortage of children, evidently, where they needed them, so they sent these children somewhere else to grow up and become population in that area. We've seen it across the West in the United States and also across Europe in different areas where sparse population needed regrowth. And that brings us to the idea of the Cabbage Patch Kids. And this is not the first time we've heard about this. We've heard about these Cabbage Patch Kids, the dolls, came out in the 70s, I think it was, or 80s. But also there was a thing back during the World's Fair, late 1800s, about a similar idea of children being grown and then distributed throughout the world. This is during the reset, the Tartarian age erasure, if you will, that they was having these grown babies they was talking about at the World's Fair distributed throughout the United States. They became known as Cabbage Patch Kids. You want to check this out. Y'all can go ahead and look it up and everything and kind of draw the parallels and similarities to everything like this. And it points to that, yes, the population was decimated at one time. In particular, the Caucasian population was decimated. And these orphan trains, these Cabbage Patch kids, was grown, created, whatever, and then distributed like the Cabbage Patch dolls were. Uh, Everything points to this, guys. Everything points to this. That this was a reset. Has this happened before? Yes. We can go back 2,000 years ago, approximately, maybe a little bit longer than that or less, and we'll see another reset where the population was sparse and had to be repopulated throughout the world. Noah's flood is another one, guys. If you don't know about Noah's flood, that was around 4,000, 4,400 years ago. Again, a repopulation after a reset. The flood was a reset. We've had several of those, even going back to the beginning, in the beginning, those famous words. That was another example of a reset with a reintroduction of a new species or another species. There's a lot of things that point to this, guys. You just got to step outside the circle and look at the facts, what they present us, and shows that this was done not only one time, but several times throughout history, that they create babies in laboratories, labs, incubators, or whatever, and then repopulate the planet. Therefore, it points to, again, that the population perhaps is decimated, harvested, or just killed off by one thing or another, natural disasters. But my idea is more towards a harvesting. Remember, guys, it is long thought by several experts and semi-experts and people that guess they have a lot of stuff that we are a farm product. We are nothing more than a commodity on the the intergalactic market. Whatever use they have for us, whether it's slave labor, or juices, or internal organs, or experimentation, or whatever. But we are a farm. And we are grown and created to be produced or be sold on a galactic market. So I'm going to try to find some pictures here, guys. I'm just throwing this at you right now. But a lot of evidence, guys, points to this. One of the things I want to also talk about is the population decrease that's been going on, especially in the Western societies, again, i.e. white people, that our population growth has dropped tremendously. It is well known throughout all areas that in the field that if a population of a society drops, the population growth of a society drops below 1.7, that population, that society is going to fail. At that point, anything below 1.7 growth, it is on a downfall. The population growth of the United States is less than 1.6. Which means we are a failed society. We are on our way out. Europe is around the same area. I think they even recorded at one time 1.3 population growth, which means more people are dying than are being born. And this is of a real concern for the population, not only of the United States and Europe and everything, but of the world, because this will affect the rest of them. So this kind of idea is what we look at when they started introducing immigration into the United States, wholesale immigration. And on essence, on paper, it looks like they're trying to reseed the population and bring our population growth back up to where it will not fail. Our society will not fail. But we also know that there's ulterior motives involved in this, and we're not going to go into that, but we know the facts are the facts. But our population is failing. Even though the population of the world keeps growing, the white people population is falling. So y'all can check this out if y'all want to and everything like that and look at the records. But yeah, we are a failed society. Western societies are a failed society, and we are on our way out. Hope y'all have a good day. Later, taters.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!